Hi, welcome to today's tutorial. I'm going to get straight on with today's makeup look because I think it's going to take me quite a while. It's got quite a few products in it. I'm going to go from doing base to eyes to lip, so it's full on. It's the, you would have seen at the start of this video, it's the one with the red lip, the picture that I put on my social media the other day. So I'm going to go straight onto it. I've applied a tiny bit of like skin tint, and I'm going to start off with the eyes. So I'm going to use some eye primer. This is a Younique one, and I'm just going to put that directly onto my ring finger. A bit too much, I've tapped a bit onto the back of my hand. And then I'm going to pop that all over the eyelid. It's also a good colour to just neutralise, give you a base for the eyeshadow that you're going to apply next. So I'm almost patting that down. You can use a brush if you like. I tend to mix, sometimes I use brush, sometimes I use my fingers. And then same on the other eye. In this video I'm going to be conscious of using a mixture of products from various different lines. So I'm going to use some Drugstore, some a little bit higher end, not really too expensive at all. But this has come mainly from one of my friends that just wanted to know a bit more about base, but using affordable products, of which there's so many out there. So I'm just going to try and feature a few in there that you can get this look with, so it doesn't have to break the bank. When you see photos of this kind of look, you might think it is using quite expensive products, but you really don't have to go down that route. Right, so now I'm using this eyeshadow palette today. Sorry, see the reflection. It's a Max Factor one. Really good range of colours there. You've obviously got some shimmers, and then some mattes going from your light to dark. So you can get quite a few looks out of this palette actually. Again, not expensive. And Max Factor isn't anyway. Right, so I'm just going to take a little bit of this colour here and pop that all over mobile lids, so all over this area. I've got to be conscious that I'm actually going to do the eye that you can see properly in this video. So I feel like my last video I did do the other eye, but you couldn't really see it as well. But hey, these videos are still a learning curve for me. I'm sure there'll be plenty more that I'll learn from them. So I am taking this almost to my brow bone, which not everyone will do, not everyone will want to do. So as I look forward, as I'm getting older as well, I'm getting more and more, my eyes are more and more hooded. Which means this fold here, instead of being taut, it's coming more and more down. Joys of aging, hey? So I am just putting this colour a little bit up higher, and then I'm going to blend it out. Now I've got my mirror in front of me here, and it is at a little bit of an angle, so I can see the camera as well. But if you're doing this at home, what I suggest is that you take your mirror and that you look directly straight ahead of you. So you'll get a much better idea of what the makeup is then going to look like when you're dead straight on to other people and for yourself while looking in the mirror, if that makes sense. So try not to do makeup when you're looking down like I am, but for the purpose of this video, obviously I am. But you'll just make everything look like it's being put on a different angle. So that colour is just building up nicely. I'm going to swap to a bit of a blending brush. It's my Spectrum. It's Bailey featuring on today's video. Okay, so I'm just going to tap off the excess. I'm still sticking with the same colour here. And then I'm going to look in the mirror and almost blend slightly above the crease. Because when I'm looking forward, then because of my hooded eyes, it drops down. So I want to try and elongate and go up to make the eye appear longer and more extended. The more my eyes and my features, so my brows and everything comes down, that's when it's going to look a bit more sad-like and a bit more droopy, whereas I want everything to look lifted. So I'm just blending. See, a lot of people, to get this kind of look, would stick to the crease. And I am going into the crease, but I'm also blending upwards. So I'm doing this with more of a sort of transition shade, just a middle ground colour, not too dark, just to get placement and start creating definition. Also, what I don't want to do, I don't want to bring it, so if you can imagine my brush from the base of my nose there, going straight up past my eye. So I don't want any product to go below where this brush is. I want to keep it up high. So over this side, and the same for that eye. Again, to create that lift up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm taking my MAC 208 and I use this for my eyebrows. I've got a few of them. Now I'm going to use it for this dark colour here. And I'm just going to get a bit on my brush and then tap it off. And what I'm going to do is almost place that dark colour from the corner right along the lash line. Again, when I get to the edge, just want to be lifting that up ever so slightly. This is why it's good to use this brush, because you've already got that angle. A little bit more, tap off the excess. So what I don't want to do, and it's the same if you think you've got hooded eyes, is really go too much across that crease that's coming down. Because although when you look in the mirror, it looks fine, when you're blinking, you'll get a little bit of a gap. So I'm trying to keep it off that area. And I'm just doing this with shadow. So it's more of a softer effect. And you can blend it away. And then I'm going to go all the way along the same brush, really gently just tapping that colour right close to the lashes. It's a nice way of just getting a liner on, but I know some of you fear using gel liners and liquid liners, so it's actually a really nice way of trying it, you know, without thinking, oh, you're gonna make a mess, and just get a cotton bud, just wipe any away. You might get a bit of fall down with this, so, you know, again, best to not do your base before, or not completely finish your base anyway. You can almost use that cotton bud just to blend it out as well. Okay, so both eyes done now, so don't worry about getting this done perfect. With shadow you can buff it out anyway, and it can just look a little bit more messy and not sculpted like you would do with sort of a liquid liner or a gel liner. Okay, so I'm going to go in with this brown here. It's got a slight bit of shimmer to it. Tap off the excess, and then I'm just going to bring that to the outer corners. It's meeting that line that I've already done there. I'm going to use that blending brush, blend that away. Put a bit too much on actually, but it's fine because that just blends away. Almost pushing that product on. You get grab your MAC 208 or one that you've got similar, a little bit of the darker shadow, and then I'm just going to bring that onto the bottom lash line. Not all the way along, just halfway. I'm going to get a blending brush. Smudge that up a little bit of smoky effect. Again, just keep looking, keep sitting back in your mirror and thinking if you want to go a little bit darker, add a little bit more dark, blend it out. Taking my black eyeliner pencil and then going in the waterline, top waterline. I'm going to go back over underneath and almost go over just where the roots of the lashes sit, and make sure covering as much of that area as possible with the black. Okay, so I've been getting on with matching the eyes up now, as I've just been mainly working on this one so you can see it more in the camera. Another thing that you can do with this brush, you go in with the darker colour, keep it at this angle, so it's almost like you're following your bottom lash line up. You can place the shadow there and then push it up. To blend that colour up. So you've got your starting point. You know where you should put it, so you almost print it on, and then you can use that brush just to go up. Come back in with your buffing brush, buff that up too. It's actually creating quite a nice smoky as well. So in the smoky eye tutorial that I did with the blues the other day, you know, this is a different way of doing it with browns. Like I said to you, there's so many different ways of doing a smoky eye, various different colours, and this is already looking quite smoky, so you know this could be the one for you. I'm going to just take some of this lighter colour here and almost run that along the bottom. Now what I'm going to do, actually I'm just going to use my finger and press a little bit onto that colour, and I'm just going to place that onto the lid. I just feel like placing this colour is giving me less fall down by using my finger, and I'm getting a better payoff of colour as well. And you'll perhaps find that with some products, you'll be using a brush and feeling like you'll go back into the colour and putting it on the eyelid and there's just like nothing coming off of it. Again, that depends on what kind of quality eyeshadow you've gone for, what brand, but also the tools you're using as well, which is just equally as important. So yeah, if in doubt, just grab your finger and pat that colour on. So now I'm going to move more into my base. I might come back to my eyes just to see once I've done my base and my blush and my bronzer, and see just how everything's coming together and the look, and if I want to extend anything a little bit more, put any more dark onto the eyes. Obviously I've not done my mascara either, so that's going to make a difference, but I just want to concentrate on my base now. Okay, so I've been using a little bit of fake tan this last week, and I am going to be mixing some foundation to make that match the colour of my neck. I try and use an SPF on my face, quite high one in the summer, and when the sun's out, just conscious of sun damage and what it can do to the skin. So on my face I'll use a higher one. I haven't got any face tanning stuff at the minute, so I haven't put any on my face, but I've been putting it on the rest of me, and I can even that up with foundation. So I'm taking this Maybelline Dream Satin Liquid, which I think for a drugstore foundation is really lovely. So I've got two here. I've got, this one is super dark, so I'm only going to take a little bit of this one and then mix it. So I've got Ivory here, and that's Sun Beige. So what I'm going to do is just take them on the back of my hand. So obviously I've got a little less of the dark one. Make sure you've got clean fingers if you've been using them with the eyeshadow, which I have. So I'll just wipe them on a wet wipe, and I'm just going to mix that in on the back of my hand, and then go in with placing that on my face, and I think that is pretty perfect. So I'm just going to go ahead with patting this foundation all on. Now, being hay fever season, it's getting to me already as I suffer, so I get really runny eyes, so I am using the foundation just up in this corner just to take down a little bit of that redness, and then the rest I'll conceal with concealer. If I feel like it needs more. Okay, so I'm just going to do that again with these foundations because I've run out. I'd rather go back and mix some more than waste product. So again, I'm just mixing that on the back of my hand. Yeah, it's just a really nice coverage and a really nice finish. And I have tried quite a lot of drugstore foundations, and nothing seems to beat this one at the minute. So I'm finding I'm using it quite a lot. Day to day. If I was going out, then I'd probably use a bit more of an expensive one. So I'm going right up to those corners, making that really crisp and clean. So there's no darkness downwards, so it's not going to create any darkness underneath the eye. I wanted lifted and elongated out, just to give that eye a better look. Okay, next I'm going to go in with some concealer. This is from NYX. Might be a little bit too light for me actually, this one, so I'm just going to try it out. I haven't had it very long. And grab my concealer brush. Now I try not to use too much concealer in this area, just because I find personally that it does gather into fine lines. You know, the more you're going to put on, the more it is going to be quite visible. So I'll just put a little bit on it first. And this is really the only area that I really need to conceal under my eyes. So I'm pushing in more of the product in this area. I only put a little bit on, but even that's probably a little bit too much. And then I'm just blending it down. So going right up to that colour that we've used underneath the eye along the bottom lash line. And then just to the inner corners to freshen that corner up, so you've got no darkness there. Really gently using this concealer brush just to pat and work it into the skin. Now it's maybe a little bit light for me, but I don't mind that at all. That is quite nice. There's so many brands out there now that like one of my best things, and that'll be where I'll be heading after lockdown, I think, is Superdrug. Just going in there, grabbing a basket and exploring all the makeup. Okay, so you can take your foundation sponge and just almost pat over that. I'm quite lucky with my skin. It doesn't, touch wood, I don't really suffer with breakouts or anything, so I don't tend to use much concealer anywhere else. I mean, I do get a lot of redness in my skin, that's what I do suffer from. But at the minute, I think 'cause I'm not wearing makeup all the time, I haven't really got that much redness going on either. Now I'm just going to take my MAC Shape and Shade and just add a little bit to my brows. Okay, so I've just been filling in my brows with my MAC Shape and Shade. I really love this product because it allows you just to like finely draw what look like little hairs into your brows. I really don't like using brow pencils. I don't like the look they give you. I love using brow powder, which is what I usually use, but I haven't found anything to beat this yet. But I think for a good product, I mean MAC, I don't think MAC are expensive anyway, to be honest. And if you find a good product, then it is worth investing. So also in my brows, I don't want to go any further downwards either, because again, it's going against what I'm after. So I'm after achieving elongating the eye and bringing it upwards. So I don't want to bring the tail of my brows down too far. In fact, there's even a little bit that I would probably try and conceal, just because it naturally goes down that little bit too far. Next I'm going to take this watercolour cream bronzer from Daniel Sandler. Really pretty matte bronze. take a little tapered brush. I'm just going to swirl that around the bronzer. Just warming it up a little bit actually. In there. I'm going to do a little bit of contouring. Just a little bit. I think it can look really lovely when it's just done well and there's just a hint of it. I feel like if you spend hours on your makeup contouring your face, then I just think what's the point? Like, to a Kim Kardashian level that your face changes. And I'm just not down with that. I haven't got time. I can't be bothered also. And I think you have to be really bloody good at it to get away with using it to such a degree that you're changing your face shape and you're sculpting, but so nobody can actually tell. And that's what you've got to be careful of. These people that are out there doing it and you can actually tell, I just think what's the point, because it doesn't look natural at all. Do you see just that little bit? You can take your sponge again, you can just go over it. You do the same the other side. Take it right back to the hairline on both sides, so you don't have a gap and then it starts. I have this Bronze Glow. This is very well used. This is Collection. It used to be called Collection 2000, I think. I think it's the same brand. I really love this. And this is not expensive at all. So then I'm just going to run that over the skin and naturally catch the sun. I didn't wear any blusher with this look. However, I have got a new blusher from Illamasqua that I'm really desperate to try, but maybe I'll use that in one of my other tutorials this week. When I get new products, I just want to use them all together. But sometimes that is not doable. So I did wear quite a bit of bronzer in the photo that I put up with this look. So now that I've gone to do a little bit on the face, I'm going to go back to the eyes now. Just going to pop some mascara on. Okay, mascara's now done. I have noticed a bit of creasing on that concealer. So I'm just going to take, this is a MAC Prep and Prime loose powder. So I'm just going to take my concealer brush again, because it started to move. Now, it might be because I didn't powder straight away. I don't always powder my concealer though, because I don't like too much of an over powdered makeup. There are other concealers that I've used that I haven't had to powder. So I'm just going to take a touch of that and go over it. But again, sometimes it's just trial and error with these products. The good thing is if you go for a brand that is quite inexpensive, then you're not losing out too much by trying them. So I've got this beautiful blush highlighter from Illamasqua. I'm just going to take that top of the cheekbones. Really pretty. Take a finer concealer brush that's got a really straight edge. I'm going to take a little bit of that highlighter and I'm just going to place it underneath the brow. So I don't want to fill it all. I've got quite a bit of space here from where the crease is, but I've brought the eyeshadow up here so not to bring the look of the hooded eyes down too much. So I'm just placing the highlighter right under that arch of the eyebrow, bringing it down a little bit to the outer side. I've got much more control using this brush of where the highlighter's going. I use the same brush I used to apply my bronzer, taking a little bit of powder. I'm just going over any areas of skin that got too much shine. You can apply some lashes with this look, just to intensify the eyes a little bit more. I am going to now apply the lipstick, which is Charlotte Tilbury. It's called Carinna's Love. It's a really pretty red. It looks actually more orangey red there, but it's not. It's more of a bluey red. Okay, so I've just used a red lip liner just to go around the outside of the lip to almost tidy it up. And I'm going to take that concealer brush again, just go in with a tiny bit of the highlighter. Run that along the top of the Cupid's bow. I'll finish off with a little bit more bronzer on the temples. Sorry if this is a really long video, but there are quite a lot of products that I've talked through and techniques, especially if you have a hooded eye like me. So anyway, I hope you found it interesting and I hope you learned a little bit from it. And yeah, that's quite a lot on the eyes, but with a red lip, I think it actually looks really pretty. Really nice evening makeup. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.